Do you want to learn to play fighter like this?
What is this lagginess, bro? Come on, third row, come on. Yeah, what's up?
And this?
Wait, I'm gonna go home.
I'll kill all of you. I don't care. I'll kill all of you. Get over here. You too.
And even hit big damage numbers like this? Then I think you've come to the right place. I myself have a decent amount of hours into this game, so I think I'm at a great place with explaining how the fighter actually gets built, how I play him, and I'm not telling you this is the best way to play him. I think there are multiple ways to play the fighter. I'm just telling you how I effectively play him, what's worked for me, and I've gotten a lot of success doing this. So without further ado, let's get down into his abilities and how I run them. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of showing you in a nice format within the game itself. I'll be utilizing screenshots of abilities as well as live footage to showcase what I'm talking about. Firstly, all physical damage classes in the game, including Fighter, Barbarian, Rogue, and Ranger, have 2 activatable spell abilities and 4 passives each. Alright, skills are just really basic, right? I like a Sprint, or aka Wind Rush, Life Breeze. Gives you heal, it comes back after 5 minutes. I got Wind Rush, Sprint. Fortified Armor, Rampage, when you do more successive like melee attacks, it'll give you 10%, it's nice. Projectile Resistance, and Perseverance. Perseverance depends on what you're doing. I use Spear, so Sword Mastery is worthless, and Swift Counter is worthless. I don't have a shield. If you use the sword, these two are probably better to have for something else. I don't know that iteration. I don't really do it. I like Perseverance. It gives me a little bit of health while I'm just like running around like an idiot while I'm not fighting. This is like what I've been doing. I don't think Warrior Taunt's good. Once you get more comfortable as a fighter and you feel better fighting different classes and you have more experience, then I would recommend Mortal Strike and Life Breeze. Why? Sprint gives you the ability to have mobility and catch up to somebody or run away. Mortal Strike is the opposite. You're more offensive, you have no mobility, and if you get a killing blow, you get to heal for 8%. I think if you have more experience with the game, you know how to fight a fire mage and ranged guys and melee guys, I think you can then opt in to have Mortal Strike. Regardless, I think every build, every spell combination always have Life Breeze. That heal is much too good, and I believe it to scale with healing effectiveness. Alright guys, let's get down to the gear and how I like to run it. I typically like to run a spear, as you may have noticed already. I like to run spear, reflex bow. Reflex bow is a superior bow to short bow. I don't need to say much there. In stats, in damage, and arrow drop off. I typically like to run, as you see on the screen now, a linen cap or some sort of hooded helmet, leather gloves, and I also like to run a lot of physical attack power on these things with a mixture of armor pen. Now you can opt a couple things out for physical damage resistance or physical damage reduction, I believe it's called, or armor, depending. As you can see on the screen, I love to run cloth shoes. I think they're the best shoe in the game personally. They have 8 movement base speed. They have an additional roll that you could get. I like to get movement speed. I like to get physical attack power, obviously, and armor and things of that nature. But the main point is the movement speed. Gives you the most mobility, most bang for your buck. Yeah, it's not the most armor, but you could get an armor roll to make up for it. I like Templar plate armor. It reduces your speed by 20, but it's nowhere near as bad as the Knight plate armor, I believe, which reduces your speed by 30. Templar gives you enough armor and health and everything, and it's a good middle ground. And if you have cloth shoes with movement speed on it, it'll help you tremendously make up for that loss of movement. I like to play in a style where I have more mobility. I don't like to be a walking tank that can be kited. Moving on into the jewelry, as you can see, I like running attack ring, cooling ring, and either an armor necklace or a necklace of speed. I think you can run physical attack power and offensive attributes on most of everything I just said. The cooling ring gives you cooldown, but honestly with jewelry you can kind of change it up how you like it. If you like healing effectiveness, run an attack ring with healing effectiveness and have cooldown reduction on that healing ring. That would be a really solid pair. You could pair that with the armor necklace if you want more armor, or speed necklace if you want more speed. I don't have an image for the legs, but I would run some sort of leather legs. Again, I don't like plate. Maybe if you have a adventurer's garb chest plate, then you can run like a plate legs of some kind. But again, I'm pro mobility. I will gladly take less armor for more movement because it's really easy to get kited, especially in solo. So lastly, I'd like to have a segment where I kind of show you how I fight in solos against particular classes. The classes I'll have footage to show you include Fire Mage, Barbarian, Fighter, Ranger, and Rogue. The way you would fight a Fire Mage would be similar to a Frost Mage, and I'm going to put audio before every single segment, but all I'm going to say about a Fire Mage is you want to bait out their knockback. You want to bait out their knockback when you're going into them so that you don't get knocked back and damage done to you, and maybe get a hit in. Best case scenario, you can range them down and you have good accuracy. But if you like to get into melee range like me and just bunk them in the head, then you're going to have to bait out the knockback while also trying to get some shots in. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now. You have to die, brother. He's a new player. He's a new player. Boink. Goodbye. Sorry. Now, again, the way you would go against a Frost Mage would be very similar to a Fire Mage as a fighter. You want to bait out their abilities, make them miss, and obviously try to avoid and shoot them at the same time. It could be a bit more complicated. And I think fighting them is more complicated than fighting a melee character. Now, what's important to note with every single one of these clips isn't whether I'm more geared than them or whatever. What's important to note is sort of how I'm fighting everybody. You can see that I'm fighting the Fire Mage probably different than I'm fighting a Ranger, which is different than I'm fighting a Barb. Maybe I'm maintaining my distance more, maybe I'm going in more, maybe I just don't care and it's a meathead smack to the face fest. I just want you to take a look at how I'm fighting against everybody and don't just necessarily look at the gear. Yes, a lot of these clips I have more gear than most of these people, but at the same time, I do play it a certain way, and I think you can gain from watching. He's slow as shit. He's hurt too. See how slow he is? That's a headshot. That threw him. Close this in case Rogue Boy wants to come up on me. Now, this next clip involves me fighting another fighter. The difference is, obviously, I outgear him. I'm using a spear and he's using a sword and shield. However, there is something to gain from this. This shows you that his sword and shield, no matter what, cannot go hand in hand with a spear. A spear does more damage. This also shows you I did hit him in the head multiple times. Headshots are everything, especially in melee. You would do basically the same thing to a fighter in a melee fight like this as you would a Barb. If I mainly focused on meleeing the Barb instead of kiting him around, I would have done the same thing. I would have aimed for the head. And with the spear's hit combo, it's really easy to hit somebody in the head, in my opinion. Got in, or I tried to get in a couple arrow shots. That's my style. I always like to get a couple arrow shots, either to pop their shield if they have one, or to just add additional damage as I go in for the kill. There we go. We got him, boys. This next clip is me fighting a Ranger. Now, granted, I am more geared than this Ranger. If this Ranger had the same level of gear or higher, I certainly would be playing safer. However, in this instance, the only thing I'll tell you is when you're going against a Ranger and they're running that 5 shotgun cone ability and multi-shot, you want them to bait, you want to bait that out. You want to wait and take a mental note that they've done that, because once they've done that, you try to get into their space. If you can't get in their space, then either gun them down with the bow or just literally run away and maybe fight them if you can catch them off guard or something. A Ranger is really dangerous in general. I think they're a very powerful range class. and you want to bait out their abilities. Again, just like you bait out any other caster's abilities, you want to bait out the ranger's abilities. Got him. Headshot. The last clip I have to show you is against a rogue. A rogue will typically never try to go hit for hit with you. They will try to catch you off guard. The best way is to always expect to be hit by a rogue at any point at the worst points impossible. If you just want to fight barely and you have low health, expect a rogue to come. Worst case, they come. Best case, they don't. Look out for rogues in the pre-lobby. They are just the most annoying class in the game, in my opinion. So in this clip, you'll see that I was attacking one rogue, and guess what? Another rogue just appeared out of nowhere and attacked me. But, you know, you'll see what happened to him. Hello. Goodbye, Azpathy. Rat rogue coming out of nowhere. This is quite a long video, and I really hope that it can help somebody out there understand better, at least my playstyle, and if that fits them, how I gear a fighter, and how I fight against other people. If you'd like to see more of this stuff, let me know down below in the comments. If you have any other tips or anything with fighter, definitely leave it down in the comments below. I will be checking out Sword and Shield as well as other iterations for the fighter. I like testing stuff out for this class. It's my most played class. All of this is subject to change as well. It might not stay the same. I might change my mind on things. I definitely changed my mind on Mortal Strike because initially when I played fighter, it was always the sprint and the heal basically. So like I said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, a follow, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one.